Okairi, welcome back to my channel, Maybe Between the Pages. My name is Taylor, and today we are doing the long-awaited, massive American book haul. There are so many books, like you can't see them off screen, but I have boxes and boxes of books. What you guys can see on screen is just a little bit. So for those of you who don't know, I live in Japan, and I am a book collector. So I've been buying books for the last, probably 3.5-ish years or 4 years since I haven't been able to return home. And there are some books that didn't really make sense to ship to Japan. And I have wonderful parents whose house I'm in now, and they were willing to store those books for me. So I have so many beautiful special editions here that I have bought years ago and haven't been able to touch or get my hands on. We've got some stunning books to go through today. Also, as I said, I'm in my parents' house, so there's woods behind their house, so if you hear birds chirping or just nature sounds, there's not much I can do about that. So if it's a little more difficult to hear me, it is what it is, but I'm so excited to open up these books and go through them with you. So let's get started. I don't even know where to start. Let's start with the left. We'll start with the left here. So these ones here, for those of you who are fantasy lovers, adult fantasy lovers, you know this packaging. This is the beautiful packaging from the Broken Binding. Now, if you can see the sticker here, it says the Dandelion Dynasty. Who hasn't shut up about the Dandelion Dynasty since they read it? Who also hasn't shut up about the special editions that I knew that I bought and couldn't touch? And I can touch them now. They're finally here. I had my dad open this one just to confirm, and so we can see the beautiful color on the sprayed edge here. I promise I'm not going to spend this long on all of the books, otherwise this is going to be way too long, but I've been dying to touch this set, so give me some leeway here. Let me splurge a little. Okay, let's take off the ribbon. I swear, Broken Binding feels like Christmas from oneself to oneself every time you open it. It's book number 2. The Wall of Storms. There's gonna be so much packaging on the floor. Oh my gosh, she is beautiful. And then look at that stenciled sprayed edging. It's stunning. Oh my God, I'm gonna cry. I'm so happy to be holding these. I've been wanting to hold them for years. Oh my gosh. So there's nothing on the hardback. Hold on, let me take that beautiful dust jacket off. So it's just a plain hardback. This is The Wall of Storms by Ken Liu here. Oh, it looks like it comes with a bookmark. Does it come with a bookmark? I didn't know that. Oh gosh, it's so pretty. Yes, oh my gosh, we got a ribbon bookmark. Why do we love these so much as book lovers? We never use them, but it feels fancier, I guess, when it has one of those. We got a color map on the end pages. Okay, hold on, let me unwrap the rest of this series. Okay, the Dandelion Dynasty package. This one has not been opened. Feels a bit smaller, so my guess is this is the Grace of Kings, because they just get bigger and bigger and bigger, as all great fantasy does. Yes, it is the Grace of Kings. Also stunning dust jacket. The sprayed edges, yep, the same color. Plain black with the ribbon as well. Okay, so we've got the first 2 in the series, starting to make a picture there. Okay, my guess, since this is in the same packaging, my guess is that this is the 3rd book. Woo! Yes! Oh my gosh, it is The Veiled Throne, the 3rd book in the Dandelion Dynasty with those edges. Stick outside. Yep. Black sprayed edges, black. Okay, so you've got 3 of the 4. And then the last one, I'm going to take a wild guess and say that it's in this Broken Binding box, because when they released the first 3, or when they first released the series in their editions, only the first 3 were out. So, yep, I see the Dandelion Dynasty. Oh my God, it's so big. It's so thick. Oh my God, it's so massive. It's So they just get bigger and bigger. My gosh, stunning. This might arguably be my favorite cover because I love like rosy, dusty pink and it's covered in it. Speaking Bones, I just finished this a couple weeks ago. And I haven't written my full review yet because I just need to sit with it for a while. Oh my gosh, guys, these are stunning, stunning. All right, let's look at them all together, shall we? So here are the spines together. And then the real showstopper are the pages. So here are the end colors. And then if we turn them around, here are the absolutely gorgeous sprayed edges. Guys, stunning. I'm so happy to finally touch these. One of my favorite series of all time finally in my hands. Okay, I have so many other books to get through, so let me put these somewhere safe and move on. Okay, next let's continue with the left-hand side. It looks like I've got two other illumicrate books here. Now these I purchased probably, at least 3.5 to 4 years ago when I read, oh, I can see through the covers, yes, when I first read this series. Nevernight, the Nevernight Chronicles is one of my favorite series, and it really helped me discover who I was and my sexuality, actually. So these books really mean a lot to me, and then just at that timing, illumicrate was releasing a special edition. Now there are a million, oh my god, it's stunning. There are a million special edition books of Greg Kristoff's books at this point. So basically any iteration of the books you can get your hands on. But I do believe that these particular editions of this series are discontinued. So I'm very happy to have these. And I know I have the first one somewhere. Or the third one somewhere, sorry, Dark Dawn. But, whoo! The first two are beautiful, which is Nevernight and God's Grave, the UK editions. And they have the black sprayed edges. Those spines are gorgeous. Oh my gosh. I can't believe I'm actually able to touch these. Oh my god, the end pages are stunning. And they have, oh my gosh, I didn't even know that the hardback had a, okay, hold on, let me open these. Okay, so they have the black sprayed edges and then they're all black. And the hardcovers also have these, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Imprints, maybe? On them. And the end papers are also beautiful. And they're signed. Gosh. I believe that God's Grave also has the same end papers. Yep. It's so nice to finally hold these in my hand. God, it feels like ages ago when I bought these, and I guess it kind of was. Ages ago when I bought these. Oh, I'm gonna be staring at all of these books for so long. I do also know that Dark Dawn is somewhere in here because after reading Dark Dawn and knowing I love the series all the way through, I purchased Dark Dawn and then was on the hunt to look for the matching, black sprayed edges, and then serendipitously, illumicrate said they were releasing their set. So I know that Dark Dawn is in here somewhere, so we'll find it eventually. My god, all of those books look so pretty. I'm such a special edition nut, and I haven't had, the chance to look at where my money went for a long time. Actually, before I move on, this might be Nevernight. Barnes & Noble. When have I bought a book on the Barnes & Noble website? Yeah, that makes me think it must be Dark Dawn, because I wouldn't really buy from a Barnes & Noble site unless, because the shipping is just astronomical, unless it was one that I couldn't get elsewhere. So let's go ahead and open this and find out. Oh, no? Oh, okay. Jade City. Yes. Oh, does this still have the shitty? Oh, that upsets me. So for those of you who don't know, Jade City had a really weird release with a matte cover that Fonda Lee had no control over and wasn't expecting. And so they, I guess, basically overprinted and didn't have the usual shiny cover. So the ones that I have in Japan have the two shiny covers for Jade War and Jade Legacy, but Jade City is this weird matte cover. And also the book underneath it is like worse quality. And this one also has like the crappy not crappy, but like not the usual like black matching hardcover underneath, and it's got like a square spine, and the other two have like really nice rounded spines. This makes me unhappy. So it has the right dust jacket, but it doesn't have the right hardback underneath. And I bought this too long ago to try to return it. So I've now bought 2 copies of Jade City, and both of them are not satisfactory for me for the quality. So I'm gonna have to go to the actual physical bookstore, which I can do here with those English books, and see what they have in stock. You know, I don't mind giving Fondly money, I guess, but a third purchase would be silly, I suppose, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what I decide. Also, I never realized that both Scott Lynch and Ken Liu blurbed this, and those are 2 of my other favorite authors, so clearly we all have the same tastes. Okay, let's keep going on the left-hand side here. This one, oh, okay, is The Importance of Being Earnest. I think this is actually my dad's copy, and he stuck it in my closet. I read this, I think, the beginning of this year, and I loved it. But I have another version of it that has other plays from Oscar Wilde, but this one is just The Importance of Being Earnest. It's so tiny and cute, and there's a bookmark in here, so I believe this is my dad's copy. My parents have good taste. So this is just a cute little one that I think he gave to me while I was overseas. Then this series is a library set of these books. These are all out of order. But these I reread last year at this point, or yeah, I think it was last year when I reread these. I was Dealing with Dragons is the first one. I'm dropping them everywhere. So the first one is a different edition, but Dealing with Dragons, and then we have, it's not Talking to Dragons, I think. The next one is Searching for Dragons. Then we have Calling on Dragons, and then Talking to Dragons. This is a middle grade series that I read when I was little, and honestly, even looking at these covers, like this one is not the one that I got. I got these ones from the library repeatedly, over and over and over again when I was young. And I finally am old enough now to have my own money and decided to buy them for my collection. So I've got these awesome old school library editions of this series. When I reread this one, I loved the first 3, especially the first one. It's just such a delightful, hilarious take on, like, you know, traditional kind of fantasy tropes and princess tropes and stuff. So fun. The third book was like a 1.5, 2-star read for me. That really took a dip in quality, but then the last book brought it back home, with way back up again in quality. So this is just a really, really fun series, and having these kind of like old style covers is making my heart so happy. Now this next one is one that I got, I think, before I moved, so I think I'm also going to show you guys some of the kind of highlights or high points to my collection that I have here in the States, because I'm not going to be bringing them all back to Japan, right? So until I kind of consolidate both of my libraries, you won't be able to see the one here very often. And something I really love to do, really all of us book lovers love to do, I think, is go to old bookstores and just search and see what they've got, like secondhand bookstores. And I'm such a sucker for books that are kind of old and loved. And this was an edition that I found of Gulliver's Travels. It is extremely beaten up. And honestly, I would never read from this copy because every time you open it, it feels like a gamble. But here's what the inside looks like. It's got that yellowing on the pages. It's just, I love this type of book, the vibe of this type of book. So whenever I find them, if it's something I even remotely am interested in, I like to get them for my collection. So I picked up this edition of Gulliver's Travels. It smells like an old book. There's nothing more comforting. The next book here is one that you guys have heard me talk about the graphic edition of, and that is Sapiens. So I read this via audio and I loved it. And so I knew that I had to get a copy for my collection. I think my parents started reading it because there's a page tabbed. Either my mom or my dad started reading this one. But yeah, this is way heavier than it has any right to be. Like, these pages are extremely high quality, but even for a paperback, like, this is as heavy as a really hefty hardback. So I don't know what they put in this thing, but I do plan to read this physically again in the future. I do have the graphic edition in Japan that I will be reading first, But I really enjoyed this and could not put it down for the life of me. And I would really like the information to stick and sink in my head. So I'll definitely be giving this another read in the future, which is why I wanted it as part of my collection. Okay, this one is a fairyloot. I haven't really purchased much from fairyloot. You know what I bet this is? I bet this is their special edition of Raybearer, which is one of my favorite YA books of all time. Yes, oh, I see the edges. Unfortunately, I didn't like the second book, so I'm not going to purchase that in this edition, which is a shame. But yes, oh my gosh, here she is in all of her glory. I ended up getting the illumicrate box for Raybearer, actually, because they had a special edition set with the first and the second one. All right, sunlight. So sorry if it suddenly got real dark. Hopefully the sunlight comes back soon. But yeah, so I ended up getting the illumicrate box, and unfortunately that really let me down. I was not happy with that box at all, and I didn't really like the second book, but this is a stunning edition of the first one with those beautifully sprayed edges, and it's so cute and small. Let's take a look. Oh, it doesn't have anything too special on the cover, but the spine is pretty. Like that design here, Raybearer. Oh, yes. I'm so happy to have this edition. I will forever love this book, and I'm just going to pretend the second one doesn't exist. Okay, oh, this next one, yes! Oh, I'd forgotten I'd gotten this one. This is another illumicrate edition that I had picked up. It is Circe and the Song of Achilles in a set. I know that the Song of Achilles recently had like a, I don't know what the anniversary release was, like the bright blue one, and I was thinking about getting that one, and then this was released, and it's a set of the two in a beautiful slipcase, and I mean, you know, I could not resist that. I love both Circe and the Song of Achilles, even though they're both kind of out of my comfort zone. Oh no, this went through a lot in the mail. Whoa, one of the covers of the slipcase is really bent there. I don't know if you guys can see. That sucks, but again, it's too late for me to say anything because I bought this a while ago. I don't know if anything can be done about that, but I'll definitely try. And then on the spine, it says Madeline Miller, who is the author of both of these hit books. Let's open it. It's stunning. It sucks about the corner, but at least it's the bottom corner. This is stunning. Oh my gosh. I don't have any scissors. How am I going to open this? Looks like I'm going to need scissors. So when I was walking over here just now, I noticed that my mom also has Braiding Sweetgrass. I've been wanting to read this book forever. I wonder if she'll let me like swipe it from her while I'm here. I told you, my parents have such good taste. I've wanted to read this for so long. Anyway, back to the task at hand. I've got my scissors. Let's get into this beauty here. Ooh, the gilding has a nice feel to it. Nice shine to it as well. Yeah, the box, at least it's just that one corner that really took a hit. I don't know if you guys can see that. But let's see the books themselves. So here we have Circe, rare moments when another soul dips near yours, a quote, and then the Song of Achilles, I would know him in death at the end of the world. Okay, the books themselves look fine. Oh my goodness, these are beautiful. Looks like they took the UK cover and just printed it directly on. The Song of Achilles. Spines here. We've got nothing on the back, but man, these are gorgeous. The end papers, we got harps for the Song of Achilles. The inside just looks pretty standard. Circe up, yep, we got a vase for the end papers, just like the front. I love the little details. You've got owls and scorpions and so many little creatures on the front. Oh, these are beautiful. Yeah, I'm really glad that I have these editions of these. I haven't reread them since I loved them, the first time around. So now I have these gorgeous editions to read from because I feel like the quality of these is one you could definitely read, and it wouldn't be an issue, unlike the Gulliver's Travels ones. So yeah, the corner of Circe, I'm sure you guys saw it when I held it up, but it got the same treatment as the corner. What a shame. Well, at least it's only one area. Oh, I can kind of fix it a little bit. I'll do that off camera, but I think there might be some hope for that. Okay, let's now go ahead and go to the right. I have stacks on the floor as well that you can't really see on screen. But let's go to the right first. This one is one that my mom got me. Oh my god, that's way heavier than I would have expected. This is Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte, and this is a Chiltern classic. So I have it as a life goal to collect all of these, or at least all the flower patterned ones, probably all of them though, in my lifetime. And I didn't even tell my mom this, and she sent me a message with a picture of this and said, hey, I felt like you just needed this, which is, my mom knows me so well. So it's these little, they're small, not pocket editions, but very compact editions of classics. Oh man, and those gilded edges, wow, the quality is amazing. Yeah, this is another special edition I feel like you could actually read. It's got like a waxy feel to the paper also, so that's probably why it's so heavy. Yeah, wow, this is so beautiful. I can't wait to add to my collection of these, but yeah, this needs like a centerpiece spot on any shelf. This next one here is one that I bought off of, I think, eBay. I love Winnie the Pooh. I have such a soft spot for it. It has like those old school feels to it, printed directly on the cover. It's got the 100 Acre Wood as end pages, and it was real cheap online. The inside's, you know, the same as usual, but it's got all the cute little illustrations and everything. And I feel like this would just be such a feel-good edition to read from. I also have an anniversary edition of Winnie the Pooh in Japanese, so I don't know, maybe I could do some translation checks between the two. Okay, next we've got two Seanan McGuires, and I do believe some of the others from the Wayward Children series are in these piles elsewhere, but one of them is in An Absent Dream. I think this is the fifth one or the fourth one in the Wayward Children series. You know, Tor novellas are so expensive, but I definitely want to collect this series. This was one of my favorites of the series so far. I love the Wayward Children series, so I'll definitely be collecting all of these. It's just so cute and compact, and oh. Okay, so the sunlight has kind of decided to go behind a cloud for the moment. I hope it's not too dark. I'm so used to filming with like artificial lights that I forgot how fickle natural light can be. But yeah, hopefully it'll come back soon and that it's not too dark. But the next one that we have here is also Seanan McGuire, but it's not part of the Wayward Children series. This is Dusk or Dawn or Dark or Day. And this was a book that I haven't really seen anyone talk about when they talk about Seanan McGuire, but I really enjoyed it. It was about a ghost, and the back says, when her sister Patty died, Jenna blamed herself. When Jenna died, she blamed herself for that too. Unfortunately, Jenna died too soon, and now she must work to regain the years that were lost to her. But something has come for the ghost of New York, something beyond reason, beyond death, beyond hope, and only Jenna stands in its way. So Jenna is a ghost who died too soon, as it says on the back, and it's her living in New York. And I don't know, it just has this, as you can kind of tell from the front, it's got an autumn atmosphere to it. It is so, I don't know, fall-y, and it's cozy and kind of weird at the same time. I don't know. I really enjoyed this, and I really want to reread it because I don't remember details from it. I just remember the vibes when I was reading it, and those vibes were on point. So I definitely had to purchase this one for myself. Okay, the sun is back. It has graced us with its presence again. So just to show you that cover again in the sunlight, this is what it looks like. Highly recommend you read this. If you like the Wayward Children series and Seanan McGuire in general, I think you'll really like this too. And the audiobook was great. Okay, next over here we have The Thief. Now this is one that I think I got from like Book Outlet at some point. I haven't shopped on there in a long time. We'll get to them in a minute actually. I have some boxes from them. But I haven't shopped there in quite a long time, and this book is a great example of why. I kind of went through a phase of online bargain book shopping, and because they're so cheap, you know, you just buy books that you haven't read yet. And I went through a phase of doing that, and then I realized how dumb that was because that's not the type of reader I am or the type of purchaser I am. And having books that are extraneous in my collection is something that stresses me out rather than excites me. So I like to, you know, pick up books very specifically that I know what I want to read or that I like. You guys know this about me. So this was an example of a book that I bought because it just kind of looked interesting. And I ended up really not liking this book. So I think I'm going to give this one away. I don't really need this in my collection, even though the cover is very cool. Did not end up enjoying this one. So I'm going to say bye to this. Now this next one. You can see it over here on the side. I've been dying to open these. You guys know I'm a Brando Sando fan. I purchased these. I jumped on the wagon as soon as the Kickstarter went live. My Way of Kings. Leatherbounds. These are so heavy. I cannot wait to open these and finally touch them. Finally, after all these years. I know there's some other Leatherbounds here too. So I'm gonna have my collection finally. My gosh. One layer of plastic gone. There's a huge pile on the floor. Here they are. There is the slip case. Feels very well made. Nice quality. Okay, let's slide these out. My gosh, the foiling is even more stunning in person. Okay, let's get these open. I'm so nervous cutting this plastic. Okay. So this is volume 1. Oh my god, that gilding is pristine. Man, that has the most luxurious feel to it. Holy shit. Oh my gosh, it's stunning in person. It says, "Speak again the ancient oaths" on the back. Now, everyone who loves Brandon Sanderson and anyone who got this book from the Kickstarter has probably already showed this off online. So me showing the specs of these books are not going to surprise anyone, but I need to have my moment. Okay, so let me have my moment. The original artwork as the end papers. Oh my gosh, some new artwork as the back end papers. Oh my gosh, and the color blocking. All of the first sentences of like sections are blue. There's art throughout. Oh my gosh, this is beautiful. Everyone told me they were worth the money. And damn, are they worth the money. Maps with color. This is stunning. There's a signature. Where to go, where to go? Signed by the man himself. Oh yeah, they have a collection of all the art in the beginning. I'd forgotten about that. So we've got all the art in the front. I know these are the Chinese editions. I've seen those. Color map of Rochard. Guys, these are absolutely worth the money, as everyone has been saying. Let me get the second volume open. Here it is, the second one, volume 2. Life Before Death, Strength Before Weakness, Journey Before Destination. Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to take a while to just sit and enjoy all the art that they included here. Guys, these are beautiful, and I finally have them in my hands. Oh my gosh. But like I said, I have so many books to get through here, so I'm gonna take my time and just delve into these, you know, off camera. But it brings me so much joy to have these in my hands. They were worth every penny. Beautiful editions of Brandon Sanderson's work. Okay, now as I mentioned, I wanted to show just kind of some main points to my collection I have in the States. And if you've been watching my channel, you know I mentioned my classics collection, specifically Victorian literature. You'll notice that these are some of the most beat up books that I own, and that's because these were for school. I took a bunch of Victorian literature classes in college, and they're beat up and they have notes in them, you know. Oh, I can see a couple in here as well. What did I write? I write here. Layperson view with some highlights. So I highlighted and mentioned some of them. I have here, I wrote Wordsworth. He's a poet that I love, so there must have been a Wordsworth reference here. So yeah, I have a lot of notes in these. The spines are all broken, and I love that about them. So here I have Shirley by Charlotte Bronte, Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte, which I hated. I bet you all of my comments here are just hatred. What did I say here? I said just upbringing and societal pressures, so I guess I wasn't putting my emotions in here too much, but yeah, I hated every second of reading this book, but I have it. I have it. Then we have Vigilante. We have Villette by Charlotte Bronte as well. Very tabbed up, this one. Then we have Agnes Grey by Anne Bronte. I took a Bronte class, specifically Bronte, so I have a lot of, or most of their works here. Yeah, I made some smart notes in here. Anyway, Agnes Grey by Anne Bronte. I also have Middlemarch by George Eliot. This was a slog. Clearly I made it to the end because I do see some comments near the end, but this was a slog of a book. I read it once, Not sure I want to read it again. This wasn't as bad as Bleak House, which I don't see here. I know I have Bleak House. I need to find that. Not as bad as Bleak House, but man, this was a lot to get through. So Middlemarch, I also have The Mill on the Floss by George Eliot. I don't remember much about this one, and I don't see too many comments, so maybe I skimmed through this one. Oh, here's a couple here. Alternative literacies. But it is really impossible to decide this question by a glance at his person. The lines and lights of the human countenance are, like other symbols, not always easy to read without a key. Alternate literacies, yeah. So the ability to read people instead of books. Oh, looks like I got a library copy of that one. Saving money, it looks like. Next, we have Far from the Madding Crowd by Thomas Hardy. We have Silas Marner by George Eliot. This one, I don't remember too much about this one. Clearly, though, I read it, though. There's lots of comments here. Caused by chain of being and localization of power. Wow, I made some smarty pants notes in here. This one's short. This one might be worth rereading because I don't remember much about it. Then we have The Tenant of Wildfell Hall by Anne Bronte. This one's even got a rip in it. Oh my goodness. This poor book. I also have Jude the Obscure by Thomas Hardy here. And Tess of the Dubervilles by Thomas Hardy. This book, I remember this one very clearly. Yeah, there's some that are missing from here, so I'm going to have to keep looking. They're somewhere, in my house, I'm sure. But these are the Penguin Classics editions that I've amassed throughout my university years. And these are a pretty core part of my collection. They've been well loved, and they make me happy. We have lost the sunshine yet again. There's a lot of clouds in the sky today, but I'll keep going. Hopefully, again, it's not too dark. But the next book is from this stack on the floor that you guys, can't see. And the first one I have here is one that I read in Japan and knew I wanted in my collection, which is Night by Elie Wiesel. This is the memoirs of a Holocaust survivor. So there are 3, I think, different books in this series. And this is the one that, oh man, this is a little bit dirty. I got the second hand and you could tell. Anyway, this is the kind of darkest part of that series. I haven't read the other ones, so I do plan to. But this book really impacted me. Wiesel does not shy away from the horrors, the absolute horrors that he lived through. And it's hard to read, but it's important to read. And I'm really happy that I have this. Also has an Oprah's Book Club sticker on it. Yay! We love stickers in this house. I wonder if I can get this off. Yeah, it left a shit ton of residue, so I'm gonna work on that off camera. Okay, this next one is one that I actually read quite a while ago, and that is Scythe by Neil Shusterman. I did really love this when I read it. I haven't finished it, I haven't read the whole, but Scythe and Thunderhead were both, I think, 4 stars for me. Really enjoyed them. Happy to have them as part of my collection. They were huge hits in the YA world a couple years ago. I'm glad I read them. Happy to have it as part of my collection. There's that. I know Thunderhead is somewhere. It'll come up soon. Now this next one was another eBay find. I told you I'm a sucker for anything gilded, and that has this look to it. So I love The Moonstone by Wilkie Collins. Again, read it for one of my Victorian literature classes. That's another one that wasn't in the set there. I'm gonna have to locate some of those. There's a couple bookshelves around the house, so I'll have to find where they are. But yes, I saw this gilded, like, beautiful edition of The Moonstone by Wilkie Collins. I think it was on eBay. Has that old feel, that ribbon bookmark. Smells like an old book, and I just knew I had to get my hands on it. So yeah, it's exactly like I expected. It just feels good in the hands. It's not super old, I don't think. Let me see, when was this? It's got a little bit of yellowing to the pages, but it's from the International Collectors Library. So now that I know that's a thing, I might be looking for these editions to add to my collection because I love the look and feel of this. The sun has come back. Okay, all right. So maybe that'll be better to show off the gilding now, but yeah, Moonstone. Then the next one is one that I got from, it looks like Thrift Books. Yeah, I'm gonna have to take that sticker off too. From Thrift Books, so it's a little beat up, but it is The Shadow of the Wind. This is a book that I think I'm really gonna love. Pretty sure this has like the book about books vibe, and a lot of people just sing the praises of it. And I remember every time I hear someone talk about what it's about, I feel like I'm gonna love it. What is that? Some fuzzball on it. And actually, you know, having the old school look, kind of beat up look to this book actually really matches it. So kind of digging this copy. Yeah, maybe I'll take this one back with me to Japan. That's the other thing too. I have to decide which of these I'm gonna lug back across the seas. So we'll see. But this one might be one of them because I do really want to get to this. This next one is a recent purchase, and I'm so excited to finally have my hands on it. I plan to read this while I'm home, actually. And this is my first sub-press edition ever. And that is The Jade Setter of Janloon by Fonda Lee. Now, I talked about Jade City earlier. If you've been anywhere near my channel, you know that the Greenbone Saga is one of my favorite series of all time, and I will get anything that is in it. And The Jade Setter of Janloon is a novella set in that world, and Subterranean Press was releasing an edition of it, and I knew I had to get my hands on it right away. Got a little bookmark here from Sub Press. Beautiful artwork on the whole outside. It's so cute and compact. Oh my goodness. And if we take that off, we've got, ooh, it's like cloth bound. Wow, that is beautifully made. I can see why Sub Press has the reputation that they do. The inside, they all have like borders on all of the pages. Page quality is beautiful. Wow. And signed by Miss Fonda Lee herself. Oh yeah, I'm gonna be reading this while I'm home. That's for sure. This is beautiful. Oh, I'm so happy to have my hands on it. And my first sub press too. This next one is very much like Shadow of the Wind, which is The Devil in the White City. This one I just heard a bunch of people talk about. Seemed like something I would be interested in. Got it from thrift books as well, so it's kind of rough. Got the sticker residue on the back. Oh, it's got some notes in it too. Look at that. Someone really marked this up. Oh, this could be fun actually to read. And so as far as I remember, this is a book about a serial killer, right? Right, this takes place at the 1893 World's Fair, and a serial killer, who is active at the same time. Sounded really interesting. I've heard some good things about it, some bad things about it, but hopefully I can pick this up sometime relatively soon. Oh, this next one, if you've been around my channel, you know how I feel about this book. Ooh, it is dusty. Whew. Goodness, you don't deserve that, sweetheart. And that is Grown by Tiffany D. Jackson. I love this book. It broke me, made me cry on a public bus. I love it. I love it so much. Oh, it's got a white, silver, not silver, gold. I can speak. The gold there. I listened to the audiobook of this, but I think that this cover is just stunning with the bright yellow and everything. I knew I had to have this as part of my collection, so I purchased this right after I read it. And I do think Monday's Not Coming should be here as well, but I don't remember seeing that. I think my mom said she was going to read Monday's Not Coming, so maybe that's been removed from this collection and put elsewhere in the house, so I'll see if I can find that later. Next was another one that I read and knew that I had to own because of the impact it had on me, and that is Sadie by Courtney Summers. So I read this, gosh, years ago now, years and years ago, but I still remember it. Oh, we got a switchblade. That's a nice hardback, actually. Has a good feel to it. This is about it's a podcast, a form of a story, so you're listening to people on a podcast, like, recount a story as they discover it, and it's about a young girl who goes after her little sister's killer. And it just hit me in the feels when I read this. I wouldn't say it's like a happy book, but it's very unique. And I remember it very clearly to this day. So I'm very happy that I have this in my collection. Even though it's usually kind of out of my wheelhouse, I adored this book. Oh, we got another Wayward Children's book in the stack. This is my favorite of the entire series, Down Among the Sticks and Bones. I love this book. Oh my god, it's so cute and compact. And the cover is gorgeous. My goodness. Yep, got the Tor imprint on the front. Kind of expected a little more from these novellas considering how expensive they are, but this is one that I will definitely be rereading in the future. I love everything about this book, the vibes, the characters. It's just Shauna Maguire at her absolute best, I believe. So yeah, I'm really happy to have this. I think that I bought the other two in the series. Pretty sure I did, but I don't remember seeing them, so I'll have to confirm that. This was another one where I saw it on eBay. and I really like the look of it, and it's one that I plan to get to one day, but we'll see. And it was cheap on eBay, so I went for it. Or actually, no, not eBay, Thrift Books. And this was Great Expectations by Charles Dickens, and it's the Franklin Library edition. Looks very similar to the other one that I had. Let me just pull that out real quick. Okay, it looks kind of similar to the International Collectors Library, actually. Yeah, I'm a sucker for books that look like this. And I remember seeing how cheap this was. I think it was like $10, $15. So I was like, oh, I gotta get my hands on that. So it looks beautiful. Got the gilded pages here. Oh man, it's heavy. The paper's quite nice. Is that an illustration as well? Oh, that's wonderful. Ooh, and the end papers are like, that's weird. I've never seen end papers like that before. They're like a plasticky. Interesting. Or like, you get that? Like vinyl. Interesting. Yeah, so I have not read Great Expectations. You'd think that I would have at this point, but I haven't. So I want to one day, and this is a beautiful edition to do so from. So I can see myself collecting a bunch of editions like this once I settle down somewhere, but I think I purchased a couple more when I was looking for this one. I see them down there, so we'll get to those in a minute. These next ones are ones that I plan to collect at some point in my life. It doesn't have to be now because I don't think they're going to go out of print anytime soon. Oh my gosh, there's dust on these because again, I bought these years ago. Finally great to be able to touch them though. And these are the illustrated editions of Harry Potter. Everyone knows these. It's not really a surprise. You can get these in most places. The spines are also really pretty. They're heavy, but you know, I knew that I wanted to have these as a way to revisit the world. So it's just a normal hardcover here, but the end papers are gorgeous. My gosh, everyone said that these were beautiful, and it clearly has not been a lie. Oh, these are going to be so fun to go back and read. Diagon Alley, my gosh. I'll go through the art, you know, off screen, but got Hagrid as the keeper of the keys. These are just going to be such a great way to go back through the series. I think I said that 3 times now. I think I only purchased 1 and 2 so far. I believe 1 through 4 or even 5 is out now. And I definitely plan to complete the collection one day. They're certainly not cheap. But again, once I've settled, you know, they're not going to go out of print anytime soon, and I don't need a first edition or anything, so I will continue the collection one day. But I'm in love with this artwork. Oh my gosh, the greenhouse. Okay, now I have to show it. So here is the naked hardback of the Chamber of Secrets, and then there is stunning artwork. The greenhouse. I love that. The vibes of that. Oh my goodness. They did also, I think Mina Lima has those new editions as well. There's always new editions of this series. So I'm going to take my time and eventually finish these. But looks like these first 2 are definitely worth the hype that they had around them. Bobo, I'm filming. Okay, so these next books were, again, from when I went on Thrift Books, and I kept saying eBay, but what I meant to say was Thrift Books, and if you hear the dogs in the background, don't mind them. They had some really beautiful, gilded editions of classics, and I could not help myself. So it looks like I've got 3 here that I got when I was on that shopping kick. This one is the Arabian Nights. Oh, I lost the sun again. This is beautiful, but it's from a completely different collection. It says CC. Not sure. It has the lovely gilded edges, though, and beautiful art all around. Oh, sun is back. Oh, Canterbury Classics. I see. I didn't know what CC stood for, but I do know Canterbury Classics. I have to look into all of these different makers and see which one I would prefer to collect. This one has a lot more, what's the word I'm looking for, design to the outside than the other 2. But I kind of dig both, you know? So we'll see. But yeah, this one's really pretty. The Arabian Nights, never read it, want to. I have it now. Next one looks to have had a little bit of a spine issue on its way here. Also from Thrift Books. Okay, so this one is Ulysses by James Joyce, and it does not have a like edition on the side. So this is again another edition. Let's see. Borders Classics. Is this from Borders? My gosh, the memories. That was my favorite bookstore growing up. I was so sad when they closed. Oh, that makes me happy. This one did get a bit beat up in the mail. It looks like the gilding has been through it throughout its life, but it's got a nice ribbon. The outside is very nicely preserved, it looks like. So the spine is like the main issue here. But this looks like, again, another readable edition. Have not read Ulysses, but one day. And this one, I think, is the last of this kind of genre of book that I picked up from thrift books. This is A Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens. Is this Easton Press? It is an Easton Press book. I remember this was really cheap when I decided to pick it up. No way. These are pricey. Oh, that's a wonderful find. That makes me even happier. I think I just went for it based off the looks, but here's the spine. Here's the front and the back. Oh my gosh, yeah, this is hefty. This is quality. It's got that vinyl edge too. Wait a minute, what was the other one that had the vinyl edge? This was the Franklin Library. They had the vinyl edge too. I gotta look into these collections and see how they're connected, but these two have the same end papers, so that's an interesting find. But yeah, this is definitely a readable version. These feel so good in my hands. So let me just hold up all the ones that are kind of the old-timey leather-bound, gilded ones that I picked up from all different collections, but hold on, I can't turn them around. These are just gonna look stunning on the shelves when I slowly collect them. Whatever I decide, or maybe I'll just pick them up as I see them like I did this time. I think these were all at least like $15 or really cheap on thrift books, and I don't know, do they make me look smart? Okay, these next ones that I see down here are ones that I would also like to complete my collection of one day because they're gorgeous, and these are the Mina Lima editions of fairy tales. I picked up 3. I think these were actually from Book Outlet, and these are some of the purchases I'm actually really happy that I made from Book Outlet because they were much cheaper than the original price, and these are ones that I definitely would like to continue the collection of. So we're gonna get to Book Outlet soon, but there might be some regretful purchases in there, but these are not of that number. I don't know how many they have now. I know they also have like the Jungle Book. Oh, did I have that one? Is that one that I got? I have the Jungle Book. I have The Little Mermaid, The Jungle Book, and Beauty and the Beast. What were some other ones? I think I have Pinocchio. At least 2 or 3 other ones out now. Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, which I'm not a fan of that book. So maybe I'll skip that one. I'm not really sure. Look, I know a lot of people love Alice in Wonderland, but I don't get it. I don't get it. But maybe in the interest of finishing the collection, I'll buy it just because that's the type of person I am. Oh my gosh, these feel so good, and I love Mina Lima. This is the Beauty and the Beast. It's like a cloth bound with beautiful illustrations. These are super interactive, so there's like, I don't want to do this without, there's like things that you can open. So like you can open the letter here instead of just reading that it's a letter. Mina Lima is known for this kind of stuff. That's not a letter, the map, sorry. Mina Lima is known for this kind of stuff. So, wow, I'm so happy that I have this. There's so many interesting, wow, that's a really cool insert too. Yeah, so I'm gonna, again, off camera, go down and do a flip through of these, but I feel like these would be great to have for posterity in the house. So there's Beauty and the Beast. Next we have The Little Mermaid and Other Fairy Tales. My goodness, the end papers. This one's heavier, but I guess there's multiple fairy tales in this one, not just one. So what is this interactive element? Hold on. So we've got a little insert here. Do you turn it? What happens here? You can turn it. Ah, and a mermaid appears. I don't know if you guys can see that you turn like the wheel. Oh, these are going to be so fun to go through. And honestly, I haven't read all of Hans Christian Andersen's work. I have read the original Little Mermaid, and as everyone knows, that book is incredibly sad, the original version, but I haven't read his other work, so maybe I'll do this one when I'm home as well. I feel this one calling me. The third one I have here is The Jungle Book. This one, here's the cover, little frog on the back, the same gilding, same quality. Oh, that's interesting. So this insert, oh no, it's a bunch of monkeys. That's cute. I also haven't read the original Jungle Book. So, you know, I think one reason I'd like to have these in my collection is for posterity, but also I think this would just be such an enjoyable way to first read these fairy tales. I just feel like it would add a lot to it. So I think, yeah, I'm gonna make these my first experience, I think, with them. Here's all three next to each other. Looks stunning. Cannot wait to get my hands on the other ones in the collection. I'll be keeping my eye out. Okay, these next three I'm super excited for. These are the rest of the special editions in my Brandon Sanderson collection thus far. I have Warbreaker, which is still in its plastic, Elantris, which didn't come in plastic, which is weird, and then I have my Way of Kings Prime. So why don't we start with the Way of Kings Prime, because that's part of the one, you know, the collection that I already opened, the Way of Kings Leatherbounds. This was a perk, depending on what tier you purchased in the Kickstarter. You could get a bound, you know, book copy of the original Way of Kings before it went through all of its editing. And I feel like this is something that, if you're a fan, just makes you happy to have on your shelf. Definitely plan to read it one day, because I'm sure that the story is like worlds different from what we ended up getting in the end, which is part of the fun. But the way that this is designed, it's also gorgeous. It's cloth bound, and it's got a very minimalist vibe to it. Doesn't have any gilding on the edges or anything. The end papers, ooh. Yeah, I feel like as a fan or just someone who loves the Cosmere, this is such a unique and interesting thing for an author to, you know, to put out there for people to get. And I'm just really excited to see what we could have had instead of what we got. And, you know, my thoughts on, you know, what I liked better or worse from the two versions. So yeah, definitely plan to pick this up one day. How long is this? This is 802 pages. So it's significantly shorter from the Way of Kings that we ended up getting in the end. But I really like the design of this. The minimalist cloth bound design, I'm a huge fan. Next, I have my Leatherbound Elantris. Now, those of you who have heard me talk about the Cosmere or Sanderson know that I am kind of a rarity in the fandom, in that this is one of my favorite books Sanderson has ever written. I love Elantris. I love how it breaks down human nature, and I love how the main character is allowed to be just like a Cinnabon of a character. It doesn't have to be like this harsh human. He's actually a good person, and it's okay to root for a good person sometimes. So here is the spine, the front and the back. I have a little doom slug sticker. I'm surprised that this came with Elantris. That's cute though. That's from Skyward. I love this end paper artwork. Whenever I see this artwork, I just kind of stop and stare at it for a while. The cloak going over the city. Also gorgeous end papers. Oh, it's got some color blocking in it as well. I didn't know that. So we've got like a pale blue instead of the bright blue from the Way of Kings. Also the spines are silver spines. The pages have a silver gilding to them. Got a color map. Oh, I know this artwork. This is the Japanese cover for the book. I know that one well. And it is signed as well. I'm so happy to have this. I've been waiting to get my hands on this edition because I want to read from this edition for the second time around when I read this book. These are meant to be read, right? So, but they're going to be read in the safety of my home. They will not be going in my bag, being taken anywhere. But I am very excited to sit down and actually read from this edition because it just feels good in the hands. It feels good to hold. And the last Leatherbound I have here is Warbreaker. I think this is the first Leatherbound I decided to go for. Warbreaker was actually one of the first Sanderson books that I read. And I really want to read it again because I feel like having read all of the Cosmere at this point, I'm gonna have so much more appreciation for it, and all of like the Easter eggs in it. So I definitely want to pick it up again. I think I'll like it more. Again, would love to read from this edition. Oh man, so you can see, even though like Elantris is a beautiful book, the jump in quality between the Elantris Leatherbound and like this one and The Way of Kings, oh man, it's huge. So this is absolutely stunning. Outside, we got art on the end papers as always. Some more art on the back here. You know, this is the only Sando book that I feel like I don't have a full grasp on the magic system, and I would really like to, you know, to take another crack at it. Oh my gosh, if you look at the pages, I didn't even notice that. The artwork has like a shimmer to it. It's like pearlescent. That is incredible detail. This is a work of art. Craftsmanship in this is amazing. It's got like copper edges. I'm really happy. I'm really happy I have this. So just to hold up all the Sando special editions in this haul, we've got Warbreaker, Elantris, The Way of Kings, and The Way of Kings Prime. Now, I don't have Mistborn because, again, hot take here, but Mistborn is not my favorite series by him. I understand its importance, and I do think that it's a really good way to enter the Cosmere, and I love the magic system. But it doesn't hold as special of a place in my heart as a lot of his other stories. I'm a big Era 2 fan, so if he ever releases Era 2, I will probably buy those Leatherbounds, and then because I'm a completionist, it may push me to eventually invest in the Leatherbounds of Era 1, but right now I'm not super pressed to get Era 1, like my hands on Era 1. But we'll see what the future holds. But right now, I'm very happy with having these stories in these beautiful editions. Okay, we've got one more stack of books that are out of a box, and I know what they are and remember purchasing them, and then we'll get into the boxes. I told you this video was going to be long. This one was a definite, like on a whim purchase because it was on sale. And that is the special edition of Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. Now, if you know me, you'll know this was definitely an on-the-whim purchase because it was pretty. I don't have anything against Sarah J. Maas, and I actually love the first book, not the second book, but the first book in her Crescent City series. I think it's a fantastic book. I gave it 5 stars. Throne of Glass, I enjoyed it. It was like a romp. I didn't finish it. I think I read the first 4 or 5 books, and I enjoyed them. But they don't really hold a special place in my heart. I might reread them one day because I think I actually purchased the ebooks when I was reading them. But this was just pretty. Like, I think it was on sale. It was pretty. So I bought it. Again, as I mentioned, I've kind of stopped doing that so much, but oh yeah, looking at this naked cover, I can remember why I got it. Very, very pretty. Ironically though, this is probably my least favorite book in the series. Maybe part of me was hoping that they would release, oh wow, but this is nice. It's got like watermark art on the pages. Wow, this is actually a really nice edition. But I think part of me was hoping, oh, the end page is nice too, that they would release the rest of the series in this type of, in this special edition, and I would have wanted the later books, I think, in this edition. So I thought, well, why don't I just start now since it's cheap and then I can buy the rest? But it doesn't seem like they're going to do that, even with A Court of Thorns and Roses, like that series. They have an edition like this for the first book, which again is my least favorite in the series. And I did not buy it because I didn't see it on sale anywhere. But it seems like they're just going to do the first book in this series in this edition, which is just a shame. So this might just kind of be a standalone as one that I bought at an opportune moment. These next 2 I purchased a while ago, and I thought I had purchased the second book, but actually now that I'm thinking about it, I think I was supposed to get it, but then they ended up not having it in stock, even though it was listed on, I think, Abe Books, so I ended up having to cancel that order, which shows me a big hole in my collection that I need to be filling. I'm a big fan of Abe Books, so maybe I'll look while I'm home. And that is the Lies of Loch Lamora series by Scott Lynch. Now, I wanted an edition of the first printing of this, and I don't think this is what it was. I don't think this is as advertised. This is tiny, not a standard size at all, and it's supposed to be like silvery, not bluish. So I'm pretty sure that this was incorrectly marketed as first edition, or not first edition, but you know, the first style of the hardback. So I'm gonna have to go on the hunt for this again because I'm pretty sure this is not it. It's also pretty beat up. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go for this one again, but this is I'll look at the details later, but some hardback edition of The Lies of Locke Lamora. This is the original cover, but like I said, it's supposed to be silvery, not bluey, which I do want to have in my collection because I love this series, and we're waiting for book 4 with bated breath. But in the meantime, I'll see if I can actually locate the first style of the hardback. So as I said, I think I was going to get the second one, and then there was the snafu with what they actually had in stock, so I didn't get that one, but I do have the third one, which is a beautiful edition of The Republic of Thieves by Scott Lynch, the third book in the Gentleman Bastards. I'm so happy that I have this in my collection. These are not sold anymore. They're out of print. Aid Books or other secondhand stores is kind of what you have to go through to get your hands on them, and I got my hands on one of these. I've just been warned that my mom is home and dogs are gonna go crazy, so right on cue. Guidey! Okay, so I found Thunderhead, the sequel to Scythe. So yeah, again, happy to have it in my collection. It's a very pretty book, actually. Here's what the hardback looks like underneath. Again, haven't read the Toll. We'll get to it one day soon, but I'm glad that I found the sequel because I knew I purchased it. These next 3 were also thrift book finds. So this was The Woman in the Window by A.J. Finn. I read this via audiobook and really enjoyed it and just wanted a copy to have on the shelves. I found it for cheap. It's a little bit beat up, but nothing too bad. You know, it's from thrift books. What do you expect? So it's a thriller that came out a couple of years ago. I think there was some scandal with the author, but I don't really know any details about it. It was good. I remember some parts of it. Glad I got it from thrift books though. This next one looks like it's a library copy, again from thrift books. Behind Her Eyes. This was when I was in the height of my thriller obsession, and I also read this one via audiobook. The plot twist at the end of this book is insane. I loved it. That's what everyone talks about when they talk about this book, and for good reason. It's got some yellowing pages. It has like a discard stamp in it. I don't know. It's well loved. I'm liking the vibe of it. This one I could see myself rereading to see like little clues that might lead up to the twist now that I know what the twist is. And I wouldn't usually say that I would reread any thrillers, so that's saying something. And this last one just went through the ringer. Oh, there's another sticker from Brandon Sanderson. That's interesting. How did it get here? This one, I think I might actually purchase another copy because even though it's from thrift books, this came in horrendous condition with a gigantic rip on the front. But this was Pretty Girls by Karen Slaughter. This book is one of the most horrendous thrillers I've ever read. Like, the crimes in this book are that you think that she's not going to go there, and then she goes there. So I knew that I had to have this in my collection because this is one that I think I will reread. I've read some other Karen Slaughter books, and I enjoyed them, but none of them quite hit me the way that this book did. And this might be one of the books that kicked off my thriller binge that I went on a couple years ago. So the cover it's just ripped in the corner, and I guess my parents have kind of taped it here, but there was a rip here as well. So I might get another version of this one day, but for now I think this will do. And the last one before we get to the boxes is the one that actually kicked off a lot of my special edition buying, which was Dark Dawn by Jay Kristoff. This is the special edition with the black edges that I mentioned. I bought the matching ones from illumicrate as soon as they were available. This was the inspiration for it. Beautiful end pages, just like the others. And it's got like a plastic wrap that I don't think I want to take off, but I'll take the whole dust jacket off along with the plastic wrap. And you can see it also has the imprint on the black cover. These are stunning editions of these books. So happy to have them. This series just means a lot to me. But I know it's not for everyone, and I tell people who pick it up, like, you'll know within the first probably 5 pages if this is for you. Okay, so this video is way longer than I expected even, but if you guys are still here, we have reached the part of this video which is like Christmas from me to me, because I went through a phase where I really went for it at Book Outlet. Essentially, I discovered Book Outlet a couple of years ago, more than a couple of years ago, maybe 3.5 years ago, and I was amazed by how cheap all the books were. And you know, when you go to a library sale and things are like $2, it kind of felt like that to me. So I went through this phase of buying up a bunch of books that just seemed interesting to me, but the shipping wasn't worth it to Japan, so I ended up shipping them to the States. But then I just kind of had an epiphany where I realized how silly that was, because a lot of the books that I was buying weren't really purposeful buys. It was more, this book looks cool, I might like to read it one day, and then I would ship it to a place that I wasn't going to be able to go for a while. There were some really good, exciting finds that I remember, like 1 or 2 of them that I was really happy to finally have this book to add to my collection. So there are a couple of those in here, but a lot of these are just, oh, the cover looks cooler, this seems interesting, so I bought it on a whim. So I don't really know what's in here. Then on top of that, they decided to go ahead and say that some people of color's content was not family friendly, when there was a whole scandal about, you know, who were representatives for different book companies, and Book Outlet did not have a lot of good things to say in response to said controversy. And that really just rubbed me the wrong way as well. So I haven't shopped at Book Outlet in a hot minute, but I'm excited to see what's in here because I don't remember. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boxes. 5 boxes of books here. So let's have some fun together, see what I bought a while ago, and see if I'm still interested in these books. One thing I can say is I know I got all of them for a deal. I got them all off, you know, not for a lot of money. Why can't I speak today? You know what I'm saying. Got them all on sale. That's what I was looking for, sale. So yeah, so I know it wasn't a huge loss of money, but let's see what I got in here. Oh wow, they just really bare bones it. I'm glad I didn't cut the book. There's nothing protecting the top of those. Ooh, that's dangerous. Okay, all right, we got a couple stacks in here. Okay. Wow, I really did do some damage. Okay, this first one is, oh, the Phoenix Empress. Okay. This is the 2nd book in the Tiger's Daughter series, and I think the Tiger's Daughter is in here somewhere as well. This is a series I'm very much still interested in. I know it's a sapphic story about like 2 women warriors, and I believe it's written in like letter format, so maybe the letters the 2 women wrote to each other, I think. But the cover is beautiful, and I am still very much interested in this series, so I'm actually really glad I made this purchase. Hopefully I'll get to the Tiger's Daughter in here soon. Okay, next we have Rebel of the Sands. I don't remember even really being that interested in this one, so I'm not sure why I picked this up. Maybe I was looking for more desert fantasy. The cover's pretty cool, but I don't usually like people on my cover, so I'm surprised that I made this purchase. It must have been quite cheap. But yeah, okay, I have Rebel of the Sands. If anyone's read this and thinks it's worth my time, let me know. Next one here, we have Wind Witch by Susan Dennard. This is a series, I think the first one is Truth Witch. Yes, I see it on the back. This is a series that I have been interested in for a long time. I know it's a YA series, and I think when I was purchasing from Book Outlet, I was still really enjoying YA. I haven't been recently, but this is a series I'd still be interested in because I believe, well, I'm pretty sure, it gives me like Avatar, you know, elemental magic kind of feels, and that's something that I am a sucker for and really enjoy, so I would still be willing to pick this up. A lot of people were talking about this for a while, but I haven't heard anyone mention it. It could also just be that like my environment on BookTube has changed, but if you've read this series and you think I'll enjoy it or it's worth my time, let me know, because I might have Truth Witch in here somewhere. I'm not sure. I hope I did, because I think this is the second book, maybe the third book, second book, I think, in the series. Oh, this next one, oh my gosh, Howl's Moving Castle by Deanna Wynne Jones. So this ended up being a really good purchase, actually, because I didn't read this edition, obviously, but I did read Howl's Moving Castle last year for the Ghibli Readathon, loved it, and now I have a beautiful Folio Society edition that I have on display in my videos. So I don't really need to read this, but it's nice to have a paperback edition that I can kind of rough up a little bit rather than always, trying to read from my nicer Folio Society edition. Okay, all right, so we got some Frederick Bachman in here. Yes, Us Against You. I loved Beartown. It was just such a heartbreakingly beautiful story. So I didn't know that Us Against You was technically a sequel to that book. I forgot where I was going with that sentence. But I very much want to read more of Frederick Bachman. I've only read 2 of his books so far, but both of them cut to my soul. So I have really high hopes for this one as well, and it's a very floppy paperback. Like, this is going to be a great reading experience. So I'm happy I bought this one, actually. Oh, here we go, The Tiger's Daughter. So this is the first one, and then the second one was The Phoenix Empress. This one here, let me turn it around. These two, yeah? So these, again, very floppy paperback. These should be a good reading experience, and I am excited to read this. And the little subtitle says, Even Gods Can Be Slain. It sounds like everything I love. So yeah, good job, Previous Taylor. And these covers are also gorgeous. Oh yeah, excited to get to these. Looks like we've got maybe 2 more here. The next one, the next one is Radio Silence by Alice Oseman. This was not a good purchase because I don't care at all about this book now. Everyone was talking about Alice Oseman at the time, and the cover is pretty interesting. And I had watched quite a few booktubers that said like this book really touched them, and I think when I saw it for super cheap, I was like, well, why not? But I really don't care about this kind of brand of contemporary. It's just not for me. I have nothing against Alice Oseman, but I've never read any of the books, by her, and I have no desire to. So this one's probably going to go to a better home because I never see myself putting this high on my priority list. So yeah, I think I'm going to have to re-gift this one. Oh, okay. And the third one here is the third book in the Tiger's Daughter series, which is The Warrior Moon. Okay, so I guess all 3 of these books were on sale, and I decided to take the chance to purchase them as a set. So yeah, these are gorgeous. I really hope I end up loving these. Oh, yay! So actually, from this first box, it appears I did pretty well. All of these books I'm actually still interested in reading. I have one that's a second in a series that I haven't read. The first one's in the series. My guess is that I saw this on sale and I was like, oh, I'm gonna buy the rest of the series eventually, so why not now? We'll see if that actually happened in the other boxes. But yeah, I think overall, this was pretty good purchasing by me. Okay, on to the next box. This one feels pretty heavy and well packaged. Again, I'm going to be very careful with cutting because they really just raw dogged it at the top there on the last one. Okay, let's see. Oh, do I see a hardcover? Okay, what do we got here? Ah, I see. Right, okay, this was a series I was super interested in, actually. Oh man, it's got a little bit of mess on the top there, but I remember being interested in this. Okay, so we have Even the Darkest Stars and All the Wandering Light. So I remember seeing Even the Darkest Stars on Book Outlet a lot when I was, haunting the website, and I loved the title, like I loved the name, and that pulled me in from the beginning. And then when the second one came out, All the Wandering Light, the cover art is just so beautiful on both of these. My curiosity was piqued too much that I just kind of went for it. And both of them seem to have like a little animal companion on the cover. Like this one looks like it has like a little Arctic fox looking thing. And then this one looks like it has a little dragon. So I do love me some animal companions. I haven't seen anyone talk about this series, so I don't really know anything about it. But this was definitely a cover buy. Again, not really big on my YA kick anymore, but still, I know, something about these feels like I'll like them. So maybe what I'll do is I'll give the first couple chapters a try while I'm home in the States and decide what I'm gonna do. But I hope I like them because these would look beautiful on the shelves. Okay, next here. Oh, I remember purchasing this one. Is this the first or the second one? I'm not sure. Oh man, they're two different. They're two different editions. So I have this horrendously difficult, looks like it's not going to be fun to read, mass market paperback of the Dinosaur Lords, which, I mean, who doesn't love dinosaurs? Everyone loves dinosaurs. And then I have this beautiful looking hardcover edition of the Dinosaur Princess, which one is the first one and which one is the second one? It looks like, hold on, you know they got a list somewhere. Okay, the Dinosaur Lords is the first book, then the Dinosaur Knights, then the Dinosaur Princess. So this is the last in the series, but this was a cover buy because look at that art and the name. It just, I don't know. It sounds like something I'm really gonna like. So I have the first one in mass market paperback. I know that I would not have purchased this knowingly because I hate mass market paperbacks, not just like the way they look on the shelves, but the reading experience of them. So this was definitely either a mistake on my part or on their part because I would not have knowingly purchased this. But the first one in mass market and the third one in nice hardcover. Let's look at that. Okay, yeah, just kind of a standard hardcover under there. Let's see if the second one, Dinosaur Knights, is in here. It is, let's see, not. Okay, so I have the first and the third one in completely different editions. Well, I guess if I really like the first one, if I end up reading it, it's compact, it might be easy for me to bring to Japan, then it would be worth investing in this version of the whole series. So, I don't know, the cover art makes it look so fucking cool. Now the next one I have in here is actually Keeper of the Lost Cities, Exile. So I think this is the second one. I got the hardcover, interesting. So I have the first book, which I actually just brought back with me to the States from Japan. Like brought it back in my suitcase. That is a paperback and I enjoyed it a lot, but I haven't continued after that one. So I guess I thought that I was going to continue and maybe I was going to start collecting the hardcover editions. So I think I just went for the hardcover edition that was available at the time. So this is the second one, Exile. This is a fun middle grade that I think when I'm in a middle grade mood, I'll really enjoy it. And if you end up loving the series, I mean, these hardbacks are quite nice. So, I don't know. This one was probably a pretty good purchase because I know that I enjoyed the first book. So, when I'm in like a light, fun, middle grade mood, this would be pretty great to pick up actually. Next, we have the first book in the Wayward Children's series, Every Heart a Doorway. So, earlier in this haul, I had Down Among the Sticks and Bones and In an Absent Dream. So, so In an Absent Dream is the fourth one. I think I said fifth one before. It's the fourth one. So I have now 3 of the first 4. I love this book. This series holds a special place in my heart. So that's another one that I can add to the collection. Oh, and then this one. Okay. This one, The Queen of Crows. This is the second book in the series I haven't heard anyone talk about, but that I adore. Why can't I think of the name of the first one right now? Oh my god! The Armored Saint, that's the name of the first one. I think it actually might be one of these other books. I loved that book. I got it from my library, I don't know, maybe 4-ish years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, and loved it. I devoured it, and they're not that long. I loved that book so much. And so I remember when I went on Book Outlet, I think this is one of the first ones that started my buying addiction for a little while that I had there, because I saw that this was available for cheap on there and picked it up right away. Very excited to continue the series because the first one is fantastic. Okay, book number 3. Here we go. And did I say book number 3? Package number 3. Oh no. Okay. Well, I say oh no because looks like I had a double purchase on accident. Us Against You Again. I always wondered how people can do that because, you know, I'm super careful with my money, but I guess that's the answer. Websites like Book Depository, I keep saying Book Depository, Book Outlet, you forget what you bought because it's so easy to buy them and they're so cheap. So now I have 2 copies of Us Against You. Maybe my mom would like this one. I'll see if she wants to keep this. Next we have, The Killing Light. Yes, this is the 3rd book in the Sacred Throne trilogy with the Armored Saint. Love these covers. Another Tor novella. These are usually quite expensive, so I was very happy to find these. Cannot wait to read this. I forgot that I purchased this. This was, so I'm a Stephen Colbert fan, and he wrote a book. And I'm pretty sure that the proceeds of this went to charity. And it's called Whose Boat Is This Boat? Comments That Don't Help in the Aftermath of a Hurricane, by Donald J. Trump by accident. So the back says, after Hurricane Florence hit, Donald Trump spotted a boat that had washed ashore. It was then that he unintentionally wrote, Whose Boat Is This Boat? The first children's book that demonstrates what not to say after a natural disaster. It's an excellent teaching tool for readers of all ages who enjoy learning about empathy by process of elimination. Have a good time. Oh, and it's printed directly on the hardcover. Oh my god. All right, we love the quality. So I guess when I said Stephen Colbert wrote this, I believe the people who write his show compiled all of the comments that he made into a book, and he sold it. And I think that the proceeds went to help, in the aftermath of Hurricane Florence. I'm gonna have to read this because at least we can laugh about it now. Yeah, I'm gonna have to read this soon. Okay, this next one, this one I remember purchasing. Okay, this is Crown of Feathers. This is the first in a trilogy. I believe it's a trilogy. And I had read this book and I was impressed by it because this was kind of at the time when YA was starting to kind of lose its spark for me. And I was reading a lot of books that weren't really hitting right. And I was impressed by this one because I really enjoyed it. And I loved the animal companions of the Phoenix writers and all that. So I remember really enjoying the experience of reading this book. And I definitely did plan to read the whole trilogy. And then I just never did. But when I saw this for cheap on Book Outlet, I decided to go for it because I did enjoy this first one a lot. And I haven't read the other ones. I don't know if I will or not. So for now, I think I'll hold on to this. It's very pretty. And then in the future, if I read the other books and end up loving them, maybe I'll complete the collection. Or if I don't enjoy them at that moment, maybe I'll decide to get rid of this. But for now, I mean, this is the only one I've read in the series and I liked it. So I think I'll keep this one. In the exact same vein, we also have here Sorcery of Thorns. I read this around the same time as Crown of Feathers, which is not surprising because I purchased it around the same time. This is a book for book lovers type of book. That was a lot of books in one sentence. But I remember enjoying this one and the fact that books can come alive or have creatures in them that can come alive. So I really love the world of this. I haven't read anything else by Margaret Rogerson. I know she has a couple other standalones, but it's nice to kind of get a standalone. It's kind of rare in fantasy. So I think I'm going to keep this one. It'd be nice to have on the shelves, and plus it's very pretty. I really like the filigree around the writing on the cover there. Yeah, this was a good purchase. I think I'm going to keep this one. Okay, we got 2 more in this box. The first is Wolf by Wolf. This says, what if the Nazis won the war? I think this was definitely just the blurb sounded interesting, and I hadn't really heard too many people talk about it, but it was something that, piqued my interest, and it was cheap, so I went for it. So yeah, I think I'll keep this one as well, a fantasy vibe book. And the last one in here, I spoke too soon, is An Enchantment of Ravens, also by Margaret Rogerson. So this is the same author as Sorcery of Thorns. And I guess this one was also on sale, and I wanted, since I enjoyed Sorcery of Thorns, I wanted to try her other books. Oh yeah, I remember, because I really wanted to get this in hardback, because I had Sorcery of Thorns in hardback. But it wasn't available, and I was waiting, and it never seemed to show up, so I just went ahead and got the paperback of this one. It is going to bother me to have the same author in 2 different editions, but You know, it seems like it'll be a quick read. I've heard some good things about it as well, so yeah, I'll pick this one up eventually too, I think. Okay, the last two boxes also, like, good job, Previous Taylor. We've got some good purchases in here. Pretty much plan to keep all of them. We've got a bunch of different formats going on, but yeah, so far, so good, Previous Taylor. You didn't really waste much money, except for the second Us Against You copy that you got here. Yeah, I'll ask my mom about this one. Okay, we've got two more boxes, and the last one is the biggest one, so very intrigued to see what's in there. This one's really full on the left-hand side here. It's interesting, like, once I've seen the last couple boxes, like, I was like, oh, I remember buying that, but I couldn't tell you off the top of my head right now what's in here. Oh, I see one that I'm glad I own already. Yes, okay, here we go. So this one, the Whisper Man. This one I'm super happy to have. This was one of the first, like, I was really into thrillers, and then this is one of the first thrillers I read that was more kind of horror-esque, and I loved it. The ending sticks to me to this day. It's creepy. It, you know, gives me the heebie-jeebies when I think about it still. This is an amazing book, so very happy to have this one. I think this is, again, one of those thrillers that I would reread. Next we have here is a Dragonsteel. I love this type of book. Wow, very floppy. Feel like it's to be a great reading experience. I saw these on Book Outlet quite often when I was shopping there a lot, and I always wanted to buy them, and I think one day I was just like, all right, whatever, I'll just buy the first one. But I have heard some not good things as a review of these, so not really sure what to expect, but the cover art is amazing. And it's got dragons, clearly, so I would definitely still give this a try, but I haven't heard a lot of people sing praises of it, per se. Okay, we've got a hardcover here, which is, the Women's War. Okay. This one I picked up, I think, on the recommendation of Jessie, the bookish mom. She was, like, screaming about this book on her channel for a while there, and I saw it for cheap, so I picked it up. I haven't heard too much about it outside of Jessie's channel, honestly. But, you know, cover looks cool. I think this is epic fantasy. I think. Yeah. In a feminist fantasy epic, a revolutionary spell gives women the ability to control their own fertility, with consequences that rock their patriarchal society to its core. This might hit too close to home, given recent events. I might have to put this off for a while because I feel like either sadness that this is not my reality or rage that that's not my reality might take over my reading experience of this. So I might have to give this a little bit of space, but sounds like something I would want to read eventually. Okay, next here, okay, so this is one that I bought based off of loving Sadie. Because it's by the same author, Courtney Summers. It says Cracked Up to Be. I have not heard many people talk about this. People were raving about Sadie, but I hadn't really heard too many people talk about this one. So I don't really know what it's about, but I just know that I loved Sadie and then saw that the author had, you know, another book that had a very similar cover, so I assumed similar storytelling, but let me just take a look for a second. Okay, so it looks like this one's more like the perfect facade of this girl cracks, and she's trying to keep a hold on things because she knows, like, a secret other people don't know. I don't know, it doesn't sound like a premise that I would be interested in general, but because I love Sadie so much, I'm going to trust the author and probably give this one a shot. Next here we have Nevermore, which I remember buying. Oh, is that a sticker you can't remove? Ugh. I remember buying this, but then I wanted to read it, and then I didn't come back to the States to be able to read it, so I ended up purchasing it in Japan to read it there. So this is an extra copy of Nevermore, and I still want to get the hardback version to match the other ones I have. So I think what I'll do is probably pass this on to one of my cousins. I think they'll really enjoy this one. All right, this next one was definitely a cover buy because I know absolutely nothing about this, and the cover is very pretty. And that is the Cerulean. Yeah, I mean, cover's gorgeous, but could not tell you what it was about for the life of me from Harper Teen. So definitely a YA book. You know, maybe I'll get to it. Let me see what it's about. Hold on. Okay, so basically, based on the blurb, it looks like our main character is part of this group of people called the Ceruleans, whose blood has power, but in order to release the power, they have to die. So it looks like she has to take a leap off of a large tower. I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure. I think this is one of those ones where I'll try the first couple chapters, and if it strikes me as something I'll continue, then I'll keep the book. If not, I might pass it on. Okay, there's 2 copies of Cracked Up to be in here. I know that I would not have checked out with 2 of the same book in the cart. Like, that is so unlike me. I have no explanation. Okay, well, one of these is gonna go to someone else then, because I don't need 2. Okay, and the last one, Beasts Made of Night. Now, this one was one that I was actually interested in getting to. I remember this one. This is set in a world where, like, doctors or magicians
So my battery died through filming this video, and I didn't realize when. So I think these are the books that I missed. It is my last night in the States. I meant to sit down and like really truly film again. Didn't happen. So just to go through the ones here, we'll go from the top. These top ones are ones I actually bought at the bookstore. I think I have a couple clips of that. So Tender is the Flesh. This book I've already read and I loved it, so I wanted to have a copy of this. This is if you want to read a book that's effed out, this is the one to go with. Next I have The Empress of Salt and Fortune by Niveau. I love this book. It's such a cute little novella. Tor novellas are always way more expensive than they have any right being, but, you know, here I am buying them, so clearly there's a reason. Next, we have Nightfall and a bunch of other collected stories by Asimov. I loved I, Robot by him, and I wanted to read more of his work for a really long time. They did have the Foundation series there, but they had one of those stupid ass, like not removable, soon to be on Apple TV stickers. And even though they were pretty, I was like, I'm not buying this. I'm not spending my money on this. So I have this, which is a beautiful book anyway. I think I'm going to be taking this one back to Japan with me. I'd really like to get to this soon. Next, we have Light from Uncommon Stars. This is one I've wanted to get to for quite some time, and Barnes & Noble was having buy one, get one 50% off on select paperbacks. This one and what's it called? Tender is the Flesh were both from that deal. So this one also might come back to Japan with me. Next is one that the cover just caught my eye. I'd never heard of this before. It was in the fantasy section, Mordu, and it's like a world where God is dead, and it seems like a very dark, like weird fantasy. And I don't know, I'd never heard anyone talk about it. It looked cool. The cover was interesting, so I picked it up. Don't know much about it, but it's kind of nice to do a random buy like that. It's been a real long time. Now these ones are all from the same haul where my camera died. So just going through these real quick. Winnie the Pooh. I also hauled another edition of Winnie the Pooh in that haul. So maybe I'm just going to become a Winnie the Pooh edition collector because I can't seem to get enough of them. It's so cute with the little bees. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so I got another edition of that. Next, this is a pretty old book at this point. Everyone's an alien when you're an alien too. And it's just supposed to be a really cute graphic novel that like makes you feel better about life and people. And this was popular quite a while ago. But I still really want to read it. It looks adorable, so maybe I'll flip through this before I fall asleep tonight because I have to get up real early for the flight, so it might be a nice thing to end the trip on. Next, I picked up The Hating Game, which is so unlike me. But I heard so many people talk about it, and I feel like this is one of those books that like is going to be a really quick read, so this might come back as well. Maybe I'll even read it on the plane. Why not? Next, we have Danny and the Dinosaur. This was like a really random choice to go for this, but it's the 60th anniversary this book. And I remember just seeing this on, I think it was Book Outlet, and I was like, oh, I remember that book. I loved that book. So I decided to get it for myself. I don't remember the story, honestly. This is just a really random buy, but it made me happy when I saw it. So it might be fun to reread this, actually. Next, we have City of Brass. Now, for a while there, I was really planning to get to this series like ASAP. But at this point, it's not a priority for me. But that cover is stunning. Like, the UK covers are pretty, but oh, it doesn't have anything under. But I've always kind of really liked the US covers. I don't know, I think that's beautiful. So I'm happy that I have this, but it isn't high on my list right now currently. So this is probably going to be staying in the States, but it is beautiful. And I'm happy to have that as part of my collection at least. Next, we have another Karen Slaughter. I was actually hoping to read this while I was home. That didn't happen. The Kept Woman. So, I mean, I enjoyed The Girls, as I said, by her, and there were a couple other thrillers I enjoyed. I think I'm just slowly gonna expand my collection of her works if I keep enjoying them. So, do want to get to this one, but might stay in the States for now. And these last two, I was so excited to find. This one is ripped, which like breaks my heart. But these hardcover editions, the Sleeping Giants is the first one, so they didn't have the first one, but they had, oh my goodness, I'm gonna drop it. Waking Gods, like it's hard with one hand, and Only Human. They had both of these, and what's so gorgeous about these hardback editions is they're printed underneath. Like, how cool is this? And we've got like the star pattern all the way around, I believe, onto the back as well. Hold on. Let's see. Yes, they got the star pattern all the way around to the back. And I wanted these hardcovers. I was like always kind of keeping my eye out for them. And when I saw both of them on the website, I knew I had to go for it. But they didn't have Sleeping Giants. So, and then here is the hardcover of Only Human. Like, how cool is this? These ones I really do want to get to still, but I've heard the audiobooks are also amazing, so maybe I'll do the first via audio and then go for these two. I also just realized that I got all my swag from that Leatherbound Kickstarter, so I'm going to open these up and take a look at them and enjoy them before bed. Okay, so here they are in all of their glory. I was planning to take some home or back to Japan. I have two homes essentially, but the way that things worked out, I just don't think they're really worth the space in the suitcase. Not worth, but I don't want to risk them getting damaged and then having to bring them back in the future. So all of these are they're so beautiful. All of my Leatherbounds here. You know, you saw all these in the haul, but so this goes 1, 2, 3 deep. Some manga over there. I do have some manga up on another shelf there. Basically, this is my old closet that needs to be gone through, old necklaces and stuff that I meant to do this time and didn't get to because we never have time, do we, to do everything we want. So here's the beautiful collection as it is now. One day my collections will be in one place. One day. So all of these books that you see, 2 rows deep on each side, are all the books that I've purchased as an avid book collector over the 3 to 3.5, 4, almost 4 years. And I would say, honestly, I'm happy with 90 to 95% of these purchases. As to be expected, some of the Book Outlet books, were purchased at 2 a.m. after maybe a drink or two. And some of them will be going to better homes, but most of these are very carefully thought out and, well spent money. So I am so, so proud to consider all of these books part of my collection. Let me know in the comments down below if you've read any of these, if you have some favorites, if you've got some FOMO, or if you've got, your own special editions that you're really proud to own. Let me know down below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click that bell. I'd love to have you as part of this community, and I appreciate it. But for now, I'm gonna head out. Jenny!